David Jones?
David is. He's in here. Anybody else come down through here to Roger right here a little bit so you can always.
Nice.
What's that supposed to be about?
It's for the news tonight. I shoot back.
Huh?
I shoot back.
Okay.
There's one video device allowed in the courtroom. That's
We're really not going to speak about this now, but thank you very much. I enjoy your persistence. I'm persistent myself.
You take care.
You have a good one. You can keep updated with us on Facebook.
Is it just like
It's Roger Pion, the Magnificent.
Thank you.
Love you, Rod.
Okay, so I heard about an event in which there was some abuse against Roger. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and also tell us who you are?
I'm Linda Pion, his mother, and they stopped this car with a girl driving. Said she was going 42 in a 25-mile zone. And she told me later she was not, and they all said that she wasn't because it's bumper to bumper with construction in Newport. And they had him get all out because they could smell marijuana in there. And so they searched the car, and he had his dog in the back seat with him. And they got out, and then they asked him if his dog was violent, and he said he could be. And so they said, you get back in the car. So he did. And apparently the girl got in the car, in the driver's seat. And then they told him he had to get back out because they had a arrest warrant for him for not doing the rest of his community service. And so he went to get out, and they grabbed him by the arm here and squeezed him so hard that there was fingerprints, black and blue fingerprints, on his arm. And he was trying to hold his dog back with this arm because they had hold of him trying to pull him out. And anyways, the girl had to take the dog and hold the dog back, and when they got him out, they threw him on the ground, and they took the knee and they hit him in the head like this, I was told.
Stomped his head?
Stomped his head, that's what I was told. And
gave him a concussion and called the ambulance.
well, then they handcuffed him, and I guess they, in a sitting position, threw him up against the car, and he couldn't stay sitting, and he couldn't talk anymore. And they finally called the ambulance to come get him, and I went to the hospital to see what was going on. And he was just laying there. One cop was asking him questions, and he didn't know a lot of the stuff that was going on. He said, I can't remember, and stuff like that.
He was incoherent after they stomped on his head.
Yes, and the doctor had come in and said he had a concussion. Well, he didn't remember some stuff, because, you know. So I asked the cop what happened, and he told me pretty much they stopped her for speeding, could smell the marijuana, got him out, had him get back in because of the dog, and then they said he had an arrest warrant, and he took the back of the front seat and threw it hard forward. And then he got out of the car, is what the cop said. He got out of the car, and then he plunged at the cop. And he said, I don't know why he did that, because he's never done that before, he said. When I've ever stopped him, we've always been on good terms. And he's never done that before. I said, well, that's bullshit. Why would he do it now? Didn't make sense to me. And then the other day, the girl told me that she was in the car in the driver's seat, so he couldn't push that forward because she was in that seat. And he hurt his back. They did injury to his back. They did injury to his head. He had sand and gravel and dirt all over his face, in his ear, and down his chest. He lifted his arm when we were talking to him, and Amanda was there. And that's when we saw the black and blues fingerprints all over him. And this shoulder was red, this elbow was red, and but we didn't know about the back sores and stuff, cuts, until he got out of, he was in jail for 5 days, and he got out and he showed it to us, his injuries on his back.
They didn't give him his meds while he was in.
And they didn't give him his meds. The last 2 days he was there, they just kept saying, well, we don't have them, or something like that. And he has to have them meds every day, and they didn't give them to him. And apparently, the guards were hitting him and pushing him around while he was in there.
After he was arrested, they're abusing him in jail.
Yes, that's what he told the lawyer after. So.
Thank you.
That's nice.
Don't even there!
Oh,
You're
wait.
having a baby in your older years.
I hate saying anything because
Hey, say how you feel
I'm always
about what
afraid he's
you
going to be
want.
turned around because
As long as
it's
you don't go toward the
been
case
through
or
it.
something like that, that's fine.
towards what?
Well, no. Well, what we're talking about is the history, not any of these things that may or may not have happened. What we're talking about is Roger's history with the police. Do you feel like he's been harassed, or do you feel like they've kind of singled him out, or how do you feel about police treatment
They
of?
singled him out for a long, long time.
I could tell you a name, and it's probably on file.
Oh, there's the cops in front of us here.
There he is again.
Film him.
Whoa, Armin.
Film him.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Film him.
Yeah, I got him.
Nice.
So they've picked on Roger for a long time.
For years they've picked on him and wouldn't leave him alone. And you know, and he feel good about himself and starting to get himself together and have a purpose and stuff. And then they were constantly getting after him again over nothing. And even if they followed him, it seemed like everywhere he went they were there. And that discouraged him. And it is discouraging. And it's hard. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, a person wants freedom. They don't want to be pushed around and followed.
And he was going by the law and everything and all that stuff just so they'd leave him alone. And he, you know, and for a while he wasn't even thinking about them or nothing. But they constantly would go by him on the same road. Even when we lived on the farm in Troy, they'd still go on that road a lot of times or all the way around. And you knew they were after him. They singled him out. I mean, other people, they could be speeding and they just still go after Roger. I don't know. It's discouraging.
Thank you.
You got the attorney
So where's this money coming from?
We're gonna thank all of our fucking donators is what we're gonna do.
So these are donations from in street and like.
Well, the $3,000's dad's, but the rest there's all donations.
So the rest, besides the $3,000, is all donated.
Yeah.
Wow, right here from in town. This is all donations from in town, just people you see, right?
That's right.
Nice. And we're gonna need a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
they could tell when
50,000,
stuff's going on in the family, when everybody's upset and
it's
stuff.
10%,
They know.
correct?
They definitely know.
So, Linda, as soon as you know
Okay.
what's going on, he's talking.
Well, I'm gonna bail him out of jail. That's what I want to do.
All those kids were coming down with the same thing, cancer. All the same thing. All the people that were making.
Well, the cops have been after him for 17 years. They have harassed that poor boy. A month ago, they stopped him, dragged him out of the car, beat him up, where ambulance had to come pick him up out of the street.
That literally out of the street.
Orleans County, yeah, Newport County.
What city? Say Newport Town. We already got a Newport Town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Nice to meet you. I may be back in time to see you guys. I'm not sure.
A bunch of people donated some money, and I've got some of my own
Oh, you just need it.
for Roger. I've got 5,000 in cash.
That's so sweet.
I'm his father, Roger Pion.
Rush back, you know, I'll have my little family, but we'll rush back and see if we can take you.
A lawyer to try and prove that they were liars.
I do my level best to avoid them at all costs.
Every bit of evidence that we had to prove they
I
were
don't talk
liars
to
was
them.
thrown right out the window.
I don't talk to them. I don't fucking give them anything. Don't give them a statement.
He's talking to. He's
Okay,
talking
I'll let you deal with it, but I will file the bond. Okay, thank you, Dave. He's gonna file a motion, but he's gonna have to serve 20 days. Work through it.
Then it'll be over.
But I gotta pay the bond, because until the bond's paid, that don't count. They got you on every fucking corner.
People going on Facebook to donate some money.
Yeah, but they're telling them now they're not going to
Yeah,
let them out until
I
August
still
30th
gotta pay the
because they want
bond,
him on
because
work.
otherwise they
He's
don't
been
count.
convicted of nothing. So how
But
could they
he's
put him
gotta,
on work?
he's gotta pay the, bond thing. He's gotta pay that because otherwise it won't count if they don't pay
Right,
it now.
so
Then it won't count.
how do you
Then
wanna
they
do
keep
that?
him in line.
He didn't have the greatest and the best heart. You really think that we'd be here? Not, you know what I mean? We're friends of his, and we always will be because he's the best. He's the most honest guy you could ever want to meet. I know. Bend over backwards to do anything for you, anything at all.
I've seen him do that time after time with people, and some of these other people that really weren't his friends would stab him in the back.
Oh yeah.
And he'd leave
Oh,
him,
yeah.
he'd stay away for a while, and then they'd call, I need help, and he'd go back and help him again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, not for nothing, but I know exactly what he's going through after they drove my daughter out of town. You know, it took 2 years for them to really drive her away. But once that happened,
That's too bad.
you know, I feel like I lost my daughter because of them. They're predators, and they pick on people who they know they can pick on and get down. That's what they do.
They usually are
And
when
they
they're that
insistently
little.
pick and pick and pick and pick and bully and bully and bully. And they get paid for bullying.
Oh yeah?
You know, Roger, he'll work for you for weeks and not expect a dime from you. You know, he doesn't expect
he's
that he
helped
pay.
us so
He just
much.
helps because he helps. That's
Well,
all.
Roger
You know,
Can you give me a couple examples for the folks that don't know Roger? Give me an example or two of how he's helped you all out.
For example, he borrowed his tractor from his mother and father. He came up and
Yeah,
did all kinds of farm work with the little John Deere one.
he moved
And
all
then
the horse
we
manure out
welded
of my pen because
me
I
and
was
Roger
walking knee
welded
deep in
the
horse
bucket
manure.
up on
Yes,
it.
that's when he fixed my bucket for me.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
me and Roger fixed that.
He came all the way over to West
Well,
Charleston.
thank you.
So he didn't do that as a job. He just did that because
To
his
help.
friends need help.
And because I was
But
walking
he's
through
helped a
horse
lot of
manure this
friends.
deep.
Oh, he always comes up and helps.
Always.
You know, I didn't have money to pay him a lot of times. I'd give him a load of junk. Here, take that,
Oh,
Roger.
he loves
you know.
junk.
And he'd work
Oh, yeah,
all
he
day
does.
long to load the junk.
He
Yeah.
loves junk. That's what he was doing to get
And,
some money.
and so good with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Play with the kids, and all the babies love him.
Shannon's
He's
little
just the
girl, the
best guy.
youngest, is a year old, and she sees him and just jumps all over the place. She's so excited. She
I
can't wait for
know.
him to.
And when you're old like me, I got 8 grandkids, 6 grown kids. When you get older, you only got to meet somebody once, and you know whether they're a good person or whether they're bad. And I have never, ever met anybody, I don't think, you know, in a long time, that's got a good as heart as Roger.
Roger's got a big heart.
He has got a
He'll
big
give
heart.
you his shirt
He's
off
the
his
best.
back.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your son. Tell me about kind of what a worker he is and how he treats his friends.
He's a hard worker.
He gave his shirt off his back to
Very hard.
anybody.
He mowed my lawn the
It
other
didn't
day,
burn
and
it.
he hasn't mowed my. I was gone to church. Or
Worker,
something. I came back,
you can't
he's
find
mowing my
anybody
lawn.
work hard.
No.
That guy can work
It's been
20
a
hours
while,
a
but
day.
he did, you know.
Oh, yeah.
My lawnmower wouldn't
He
work.
can't be around a lot of
And
people.
we had a lawnmower that
he
wouldn't work
has
out bad. And this one
more
was
than
brand new
one or
last
two
year.
people,
I
he's
said,
out.
"Why
He
is this
can't.
thing? I always mow
He'll
my-"
work good one-on-one,
Well,
but he
they
can't
look
work
at
with a
it
big
and
group of
it's
people
hard
because
coming
he
road.
gets uptight.
But you put him on a tractor, you put him on the farm. Sounds everything everybody's telling me is a hell of a worker.
He can run any piece of equipment.
It is quite wrong.
Any piece of
He
equipment.
mowed my lawn.
And he's
Came
good
in to
at
have
it.
a drink,
You
sit down
know.
a few minutes.
Tell me about the kind of things he likes to do. Tell me about Roger. Does he like to fish or hunt or what's
He
fun
don't
to
hunt at
him?
all. He
So
doesn't
my
hunt
weed
at
whacking
all.
didn't end up getting
He
done.
actually enjoys running the tractor.
Yeah.
That's what he likes.
He loves work.
He loves to work. But he likes to be by himself. He
Yeah.
don't want people around.
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
like to be by himself.
Yeah.
He's got to
He does
be.
better by
Working
himself. Yeah.
everything.
He
Him and his dog.
I don't know the words to use,
Sometimes it looks
but when he's around people, he gets upset.
Yeah, yeah.
Her mother was that way. He
He's
couldn't be around
he's
people.
just a good person. You know, I mean, you just meet him and you know.
Hell
he's
of a good
person.
mechanic. He loves
Good
fix.
heart.
He loves hauling old steel. That's what he thrives.
I'm glad I finally got to
You
meet
get
him.
old steel, take it to junkyard. And
Yep.
that's how he's made most of his money.
My name's Tina.
Scrapping and stuff.
Scrapping old steel. Yep.
Walter Thompson.
And will you tell me a little bit about your work? We know you're a farmer. What kind of work do you do?
I do all kinds of work now. I do all kinds of custom farmer. I drive truck for the winter time to try
Roy
to
is
make
my
extra
oldest
money.
boy.
But I do all type of farming. There's
Yeah.
nothing I don't do for farmers.
So full service for the farmers.
Complete.
Yeah.
Before me, Junior and I got
Okay, will you tell me who you are and tell me where we are and tell me a little bit about your brother?
I am Laura Bergeron, and we are outside of the courthouse in Newport, Vermont. My brother is a kind-hearted person. He'll give his shirt off his back to help somebody. He's helped me more times than I can even count through
Finding tires.
fixing vehicles, finding tires for my car, working on my vehicles. He's a great uncle. He's been
I hear he's great with the kids.
he's like a big kid. He plays with them. He's just
Rolls around right down there with him like a big kid.
yes. So you know he has nieces and nephews that range from 1 year old to 22 years old. So you know he's been there the whole time. Very protective of his family, and will just do anything for him.
Thank you.
Come up for any kind of hearing.